Okay, we were playing a few matches now in Ranked with this Esper Control list. It's really close to the list that won the SCG Open this last weekend. So, just lots of card advantage, removal, and then you win the game with your Teferis. You have to run a win con because of Nexus of Fate. It means you can't actually deck people with Teferi necessarily. So the list that won the Open was playing Warden. We're playing Karn instead. Just trying out this card, like, you know, kind of like a JM Datome effect, just or another Chemister's Insight effect. Help you grind things out in control mirrors and against mid-range decks. And other than that, the only other thing we've changed is I've added a fourth Thought Erasure, because it can be pretty hard to consistently cast Absorb on turn 3. And Thought Erasure is just so absurd. Just like one of the best cards in Standard. Let's hop in some games. I'm enjoying this deck so far. I think for the Mythic Championship I'll be playing either this or Mono Blue. So I'm probably going to be playing a lot of those two decks on stream over the next week. Oh, it got second. I'm sorry, Freed. It is a stream of lies. It got second. It did, in fact, lose to Mono Blue in the finals. We were against Sandy Dog, which means we're probably against Mono Red. It's what Sandy Dog usually plays, or is known for. Yeah, I'm kind of surprised about that, Bobbin. Like, I feel like Esper typically beats up on Mono Blue. It's a surprising end to the tournament in that regard. Alright, this Azcanta has a lot of work to do. It's also the reason I kept this hand. It can just like scry us towards our lands here. Help everything pan out nicely. I'm a bit scared this game. My experience of this matchup has been the games where you cast Cry of the Carnarium, you win. And the games where you don't can be quite challenging. That's a great draw though. I can mortify a creature to stop the landing flipping. You can even make it the bodyguard, because then they can't save a creature from this Kaya's Wrath as easily. We have 2 Cry in the main deck, Kaias. Yeah, I'm surprised by that data, Bobbin. Just doesn't fit my experience at all. Like, when I was testing against Aaron, I felt like Esper was pretty reasonably favoured if you built your list well. Alright. I guess we're casting this Kaya's Wrath to remove 1 power from the board. It also stops the Legion's landing ever flipping. See you, Phil. Safe travels. I would like a land. Land is great. Means I can Teferi minus. Get this Banalish Marshal to play. We've drawn pretty unreasonably well this game. Our opponent's draw has been quite weak as well. Alright, white's weenie. So I believe we want these Bell-Haunts, this Lyra, and these Hostage Takers, and this Moment of Craving. Can cut the Perception, the Insights. We need these to answer... Definitely cut the Karn. We need these to answer a Johnny. Probably cut a Teferi pretty happily. Vanguard is pretty good and they didn't draw any. That is true. Vanguard definitely makes it harder. Oh yeah, we want the 4th Kaya's Wrath too. 100% scrum it. You cut cancels. That's kind of what I want to do, or at least trim them. I think the final cut is either a Teferi or an Absorb, but I don't know which. Got a Search now. I love Search. Search is great. Did you see how absurd Search was that game? I kind of just want to cut a Teferi over an Absorb. Teferi is another answer to Ajani ult though, which is nice. And like tuck the Ajani. Alright, I'll cut an Absorb. This seems fine. The entire matchup is about hitting lands and casting wraps. Exactly. Search both helps you hit your land drops and helps you dig towards wraps. Negate hits History of Benalia. It protects Teferi from Tribunal. It can hit a Legion's Landing. It's not great, but I think it's better than Absorb. Just because it's cheap. And on the draw it can deal with History, which I think is quite relevant. I think Thought Erasure is excellent in the matchup. You just need, you just can't make your curve too high. The problem with cutting Thought Erasure is the moment you do that, your curve just ends up absurdly high. It's only good turns 2 through 4, except they also brought in counter magic against you. And if they're playing around Wraths, sometimes that means they're holding threats in hand. So, like, I think it's actually just a good card in the matchup. And, like, sometimes you'll top deck it late and it will look embarrassing, but it gets you out of the early game alive, whilst not being necessarily completely dead in the late game. Okay, well, I need them to not have a negate, apparently. Apparently I need them to not have a negate. Yeah, getting a Marshal out of their hand is nice, for sure. They just have a lot of good stuff to take. I think we're dead. I get the distinct suspicion we have died. This is why Thought Erasure is good, incidentally. If they had a negate here, we would lose the game. And Thought Erasure would mean that on like our turn 2 or 3, we could have taken that hypothetical negate from their hand. Yep. That's an elephant. I'm not convinced that's better than just protecting the elephant. I guess we're dead to the Vanguard either way. If I cut as Wrath, so yeah, they actually played that correctly. I can Teferi plus find a Moment of Craving. I only go to 5 though. I have in fact died. Right. Vanguard is very good. It really is. Now on the play, you disagree with the keep on the draw. Just because it wasn't doing anything till turn 4. I respect that, Ty. I can see that being correct. Do we want the negates? I think on the play maybe we could have an Absorb over a negate. That's fair. We cannot thief them. Trying to thief the aggro deck seems like kind of nonsense to me. Like tapping out for this on turn 3 when we have a bunch of Wraths in our deck we want to cast. Just seems very silly. I imagine most matchups which you want to Cry of the Carnarium in your deck for are matchups where you do not want Thief. I imagine there is a chance that that is a good heuristic. No worries, Donut. Vanguard is definitely quite an obnoxious Magic card. Don't think anyone's about to disagree with you on that. This hand is lovely. I kind of want to Craving a Vanguard, so I think I'm going to get my Search online. It's like a bit scary. This does set us behind a bit, but it also means we can start scrying towards like our Wraths and our land drops and our Cry of the Carnariums. Jeez. This is a good card. We do not have a land for it. If we keep this and hit the land next turn, this will probably be quite strong though. I think I just have to bin this. I think I can't afford to like risk missing a land drop here. Yeah, we already have a whole bunch of stuff to do with our mana for sure. Missing our land drop would be so bad for us. I agree, Ty. Elephant. Alright, I believe I'm putting this in the graveyard, just digging for Wrath still. So I can like mortify the elephant here. Like continue to just desperately stop the Legion's landing from flipping. Currently at 4 cards in yard. God, if we ever draw Cry of the Carnarium, this game just ends. That card is so obscene. Like, I guess I want a land drop. I'm casting Contempt this turn anyway. I would like to flip my search for Azcanta, and I would like to be a card deeper towards a Cry of the Carnarium. This might be a mistake. If they negate here, they get to flip Legion's Landing, which is kind of brutal. Cool. Slowed down their pressure quite a bit. Yeah, Contempted in that upkeep so that it would eat into their mana if they fight back. And now it's 6 cards in yard. So if I bin this, I get to flip my search anyway. This is weird, like, they're just holding open mana. Graveyard don't flip. That's fair, I guess we're not casting anything. We're not activating Azcanta. So we just want to keep the Azcanta digging for stuff. Yeah, that was really bad. Agree. Well, they could be holding open formation, that would make sense. I think I'm just gonna let them hit me. Oh, that's true. Yeah, I can just activate this. If I find a moment or cast down, I can cast it. I think I'm going to do it in the end step. Because I'd like to set up a turn when I'm double spelling. Ideally. I'd also like to Thought Erasure them at some point. So that I know what's actually going on over there. Right, they cast a creature. Which I think means now I'm forced to Contempt. Just to, like, ensure this landing never flips. That's fine. Pretty sure they have Formation open. That is an absurd draw. That is exactly what I wanted. See, it's like turn 7 and the Thought Erasure is still good. I think Thought Erasure is just like a very good card in this matchup. Take the Elephant. We can tempt to 2-1 and then they just have no pressure. I guess that's fine because it lets us go Thought Erasure plus Azcanta activation. I don't love it, because like hitting a land is actually fine because of Azcanta. Yeah, we just want lands, I agree. At this point. Agree with you on that. Just do this now since I'm going to be doing it anyway. I do it on this because then I gain my life. I don't really mind if they Tribunal my Teferi is the thing. I feel like my Azcanta is my win condition here. However, if I'm gonna draw an Absorb, I guess it would be rude not to try and protect my Teferi. God, this thing is nice. Opponent's draw has also not been amazing, to be fair. Now this game is just over. Teferi plus Azcanta. The combo.
Keep up the pace.
Oh my god, stop tapping on my blue mana. All of these are great, I guess. I'm just gonna be activating Azcanta again, I think. Instead of casting a Moment of Craving, use my mana efficiently. Like, we have a backup Teferi, so I'm not too worried about protecting this one desperately. I'd rather just maximize my mana usage.
Plan B, as soon as I think of one.
Wow. Brutal.
You know what? I'm not done yet.
I will cast my Flame Tongue Kavu. Sick. Alright, this deck is so nice. Damn. Just like destroyed white weenie. Game 2, we got run over, but that game did not feel particularly close. Let's keep going. Almost out of diamond. Well on our way. I'm really torn whether to play this or mono blue. At the MC, both decks just feel so good to me. I know, right, Milkman? exile your things, shrink your things, never destroy your things. First, I think we're meant to keep this. Even if we miss our 4th land drop on turn 4, it's not the end of the world. Because we've got some early interaction. There's no real reason doing it. Kinda just like having a vault there. Autumn likes tilting chat, that's the real reason. Tilting chat is excellent. A lot of people tilt, like, a surprisingly large amount about the fact that I don't open the vault. Which is quite amusing to me. I'm just going to hold open Negate here. If they go for an obsession, I can try and negate it. Or I could just Mortify now that they're tapping out. Nah, there's nothing like that, don't it? They've said they might change the vault contents at some point. But they have yet to do that. And we don't know that it will necessarily make them better. Right, this is the fear of using Mortify there, for sure. I'm just going to pass the turn. If they want to counter my Insight on their end step, that's a counter spell that's not being spent on a removal spell. Alright, let's draw a 5th land for our Teferi, please. 5th land would be awesome. Get rid of the Djinn and the Obsession. Hey, we won the game. We won the game, chat. Well done. Exclamation mark, lucky. Alright. I mean, they rebuilt pretty fast. I'm gonna get to draw a lot of cards here towards some answers though. So I'm not too concerned. Am I meant to Azcanta or just cast an Insight? I assume I'm just meant to cast an Insight. Since it just digs me 2 cards deep now, and I just need to find a Kaya's Wrath. Or even like a cast down would be fine. Huh? Yeah. This is pretty brutal. Oh, they're killing Teferi with the Djinn. I mean, that's the correct thing for them to do, but it gives us a bunch of time, which is nice. Oh my god. I think we're still fine.
Only time will tell.
Thanks, Chocolate Man. Appreciate you. I'm very happy that I got there. At the RPTQ. So I just want to take the Djinn, I guess. Teferi is great. Wrapping the board is great. Yeah, drawing lands every turn has been quite fortunate, Bobbin, for sure. We have been exceedingly lucky today. this game. So many cards. It's like an absurd amount of cards. Right, we're now through 3 no, only 2 Kaiserraths. Never lucky, etc. I kind of want the land. I feel like I've got an unreasonable amount to do with my mana.
Let's both hurry.
Alright, if they spell pierce this Karn, it would make life somewhat more challenging. Since we would have to kill them with Teferi tucking. Alright, so we want Duresses, Moment of Craving. I think we want Lyra. I think we want these. I'm like iffy on Kaiserrath. I could see a world in which we don't bring them in. I'm gonna see how many slots we have once I cut garbage. I could bring in the 4th Wrath. I could also just leave in a Chemister's Insight, which is fine. Yes, we probably just want the 4th Wrath. I found this card somewhat annoying when I've played against it from the mono blue side. Could also see a world in which Chemister's Insight is better than Teferi. Just because it's so much easier to resolve. You think I have too much discard? Disagree. I think the discard's great against their deck. Their main form of interaction is counterspells. They just always have cards in hand for you to take. And you need your curve to be low as well, which the discard helps with. I'm gonna try this, I think. This might be too few Teferis. I could see that being the case. I don't think Teferi's great against them, just because it's a 5 mana non-creature spell. But I could still see it being too few. This hand is not great, because we don't have any 1 or 2 mana interaction. But I think Cry of the Carnarium is sufficiently powerful that I'm going to keep anyway. And just hope that their hand doesn't line up well against this card. That's fair, Milkman. That's fair. I could see Absorb not being great. It's definitely one of the weaker cards in the matchup. For sure. They're considering running out a Trickster. Putting it in full control so that they don't know that we don't have a removal spell. Alright. Now they know, but I just didn't want them going for an Obsession this turn. Why not Godless Shrine? I wanted to bluff interaction, so they didn't feel like they could go for stuff as easily. No worries, Donut. Very valid question. Also, with so many untapped lands in hand, I don't feel like we'll be too punished for not getting in the Godless Shrine right then, because I feel like we'll have an opportunity to get it in tapped later, which is a part of it. I have to try and kill some of these at some point. I guess I could just absorb this. Problem is, then I'm like real soft to Curious Obsession. So probably just have to let this resolve. I feel like if I absorb there, there's a chance they cast an Obsession and I just lose the game, Bobbin. Maybe I'm wrong. Alright, this is actually incorrect, right? Because this is the one that can kill Obsession. Or, Tempest Gen. So I just want to use up this, even though it gets rid of my cheap interaction. They don't have a dive down, because that just snap resolved. Oh my god, this is great. This is just the best. This is less the best. Ooh, they're just tapping out. Deal. I'm just permanently scared of Curious Obsession. Alright, I'm gonna Mortify in combat. No, I have to do this now. Let's just absorb now. Because then if they play Obsession, I can still, like, hypothetically get the Djinn off the board. Alright, I need to fade a protection spell, or else this Djinn is gonna murder me. Oh my gosh, that's such an absurd draw. It's like really unreasonable draw. Didn't end up needing it, thankfully. Even then. I think they have a spell person in hand. Oh no, they just have an opt, okay. Oh no, Milkman, that's so heartbreaking. Oh. Mono blue will do that to you. Alright. Negate your Curious Obsession. Awesome. Damn it. Would like to draw a removal spell, please. Or a Kaya's Wrath. Late to the party. Yes, I'm probably not meant to cast this now. Probably meant to wait until I draw the removal spell. They have 1, 2, 3 spells in yard for the Teferi. So they could just put me on a 2-turner here. How's the Espering going? It's going pretty well. I think we're like 2-0 of the deck so far. We played a match earlier, and then we started recording for YouTube, and since then we've won a match. So it's off to a good start. We're getting slaughtered, at least in this game, by this mono blue player though. They've drawn 3 Curious Obsessions, which is a large quantity of Curious Obsessions. Alright, best possible, huh? Best possible. These do not have 2 counterspells. Retort doesn't even protect it. This is the silly thing. I guess we're still gonna take it. I bought in Thief of Sanity. I think Thief of Sanity is quite good. There are times when it looks bad, but I think the times when it looks good, it's just like game breaking. So I think I like it. Hey there, Cosmos. We played some mono blue earlier. Now we're just trying out this Esper deck. I think this Esper deck is going to be the final thing today. I'm planning on playing it for quite a bit longer. Oh my god. So I need a Kaya's Wrath right now. Right. Yeah. Strong magic card. Game free. Take the threat there instead of the counterspell. Maybe. I think they have enough mana that they could use the counterspell pretty profitably at any point. And the 1/1 is not like the biggest threat. Like that, like in that situation we died to the Tempest Gen rather than the 1/1. I don't know what I want to change here. I could see some insights being decent, but I definitely want the 4th Wrath in the deck. Not having the 4th Wrath in the deck felt pretty egregious after that game. I almost wonder whether you can cut a land and go down to 25 with like so many fewer 5-drops in the deck. You had to be in the closed beta to get these. You got given these when it left closed beta, if you were in the closed beta. Cutting a land might be kind of nonsense. I just don't know what to cut for this 4th Wrath. Is it really the Teferi? Am I really just going down? Why are we cutting the good art? Good point. I'm gonna try this. This might be wrong, but I'm aware we just like lowered the curve of the deck a ton. Do we need the full 7 Duresses? Yes. Next question. Duress is really good against the mono blue deck, so just like helps ensure that you resolve the spell you want to resolve, lets you know what you're playing around. Yeah, same Milkman. I am really sad I didn't know about that, because I would have done the same thing. Alright, Search needs to find me a black source. But if we find the black source, this hand is excellent. You could craft more than one. You cannot do it anymore, Bobbin. You have to do it back when you got hold of them. For the time period where you could redeem them, during that time period you could also craft them. I do not want to keep this because it does not make black mana. All I care about is making black mana. Like so. Siren Storm Tamer. Meet Thief of Sanity. Good evening, Gabrov. Good to see you. Yes, I would like more mana. Mana's excellent. So I get to attack them now. They want to double block this, I think that's fine. Problem is, if I go for a Moment of Craving and they have a dive down, I look really silly. I guess maybe I was meant to Duress pre-combat for that reason. Yeah, I was probably meant to Duress pre-combat for that reason. I really regret not doing that. It's fine, we're building towards flipping the search. Just like our real win con here, but... yeah, they didn't have the dive down, and we Duress pre-combat, we're just in a much better position there. Guess I'm just taking the Charter Course because it sorts their hand out. Their hand's like a little bit of a mess at the moment. Yeah, I didn't see that information scrum. I think a lot of people missed it. This card's alright. I really want to just flip my Azcanta though. Also gets a card in my yard for my Teferi, so that we can adapt it nice and soon. Like if we mill a spell or draw a land, we now have a 5/5. We get to kill them really quickly. Yeah, this is a good spell. I kind of just want to get them dead with my Teferi though. It doesn't even answer Tempest Djinn anyway, right? That makes sense, Squirmit. Yeah, I just didn't do that, otherwise I would have 4 of the promo Teferis. Alright, that's a heckin' ton of damage. Yes? Yeah. Duress is like really good. Just like lets us know what we're playing against her. Then it means the search is 100% flipping next turn. Yeah, them stumbling on that drops has been way too rough for them. Not being able to do their thing. Nice. Took down the mono blue menace, and thus we are mythic. And thus concludes our new series, Diamond to Mythic. Diamond 1 to Mythic. Oh. I wasn't sure whether it went Platinum Diamond Mythic or Diamond Platinum Mythic, so I wasn't sure quite what to expect there. It'd been a while since I played the ladder. Couldn't remember where I was at previously. Mythic hype though, for sure. Oh, this hand is beautiful. Easy keep. Search for Azcanta is such a messed up card. Oh, thanks, Minosaur. Royal to Genius. They're probably the blue-green deck. The blue-green Nexus deck. most likely. That card's scary. I'm just gonna dump this in the yard if they're blue-green Nexus. Dig for lands, and then I'm fairly sure I'm just meant to blow this up. Especially when they don't have green mana currently. They diggin'. They play for Search. Yeah, but Search is just their best card. As is the case with many Search or Azcanta decks. So I think we just want to get it out of the way. Okay. They have Frilled Mystic Open, I'm assuming. I don't really know these lists, but I assume they have Frilled Mystic Open. I'm definitely keeping the Chemisters in sight. As much as I'd like to transform the Search. Huh. God, this deck is so obnoxious to play against. Now if I go for an Insight on their end step, they can resolve a Mystic, but that means I can get my Search back in play, or play a Teferi. So I think it's fine just to go for this. Dig for our land drops. And now I can go Search plus Absorb. Which is pretty nice, or I can just hold open Insight again. I really want to find a Thought Erasure before I, do anything too dangerous. So I think I'm just going to pass with Insight up. This blue-green Nexus deck is surprisingly terrifying to play against. This is my first time playing against it. I knew it was a thing people were doing, but... Alright, I'd like to draw 2 again. God, no Thought Erasure. Cannot find a Thought Erasure. Alright, I'm gonna cast this. This might be too dangerous, but we kinda got nothing going on. We have to kind of hope they don't have too explosive a Reclamation here, but with this in play, we can start building towards flipping it, which feels really powerful. I feel like we just don't want to give them infinite time. Absorb, jeez. That is a good one. I think I'm just going to minus on their Search for now, though. Because we can't really beat them flipping that. As much as I'd like to have Absorb open. Okay. So now they have a Frilled Mystic open. Oh, that's a great draw. Jeez.
Let's skip to the good part.
I think I'm still just going to be absurdly aggressive. I just don't think I can ever let them flip their Search. It is slightly awkward that they're drawing a search really soon. Have to like keep slogging our way through them. This one's fine. I guess they get to draw a couple cards, but we get to clean up the crisis really easily. Will I be in Strasbourg? I will not be. With it being the week before the Mythic Championship, I kind of wanted to just focus on testing for that. Yeah, this would be a good turn to hit Thought Erasure, wouldn't it? This would definitely be a good turn to hit Thought Erasure. And yet... we're just firing off this Precognition. Or activating Azcanta. I guess if I activate Azcanta, I could hit a Negate or an Absorb. Oh, this can hit either of those anyway, though, too. Yeah, it draws 6 deep. Yeah, we can just dig for interaction here. Mortify is great. Yeah, I feel like you're correct, Prometheus. I agree. I agree. Oh, this isn't correct. I should play the Isolated Chapel if I want to have Mortify open. Anyway. Details, details. This matchup feels incredibly hard pre-board. We have drawn quite well, and they have drawn quite poorly. And it still feels like we could just die at any moment. Yeah, I understand that, Chocolate Man. It's, Magic Fest London is a weird one. I'm like a little bit upset about some of the details surrounding it. Another crisis, huh? I don't know, Prometheus. I've not kept up to date on that. I kind of just want to use creature removal on the crisis. And save the Mortify for any of their many enchantments. What's up with London? They're doing it as a pre-release GP. Which is really awkward. Because it, like, steals people away from stores, right? So all these people who would normally, like, go to their store to do a pre-release, who now end up, like, going to the GP instead. Which is, like, kind of cool from the perspective of pre-release GP, but kind of awful from the perspective of, like, all the stores in the London area are just going to have way worse attendance at their pre-releases and normally really rely on pre-releases for, like, a large part of their income. So I'm pretty upset about that last bit. Yeah, for sure, Marcus. Agree. It puts judges in a really awkward position. Because they really just want to, like, help at their local stores, but can't necessarily. I can bounce my Teferi. We get a Thought Erasure, which is what I've wanted all along. Everything I've ever wanted. Oh boy. These are some magic cards. Oh, we need to keep this in the deck to actually be capable of killing them, weirdly. Let's get the Teferi down. I'll take the Wilderness Reclamation. I'm planning on trying to Mortify it.
Keep up the pace.
I guess Teferi can tuck search. Maybe that's more relevant. Alright, just gonna pass the turn here with Mortify up. Could also just get Karn down and start like generating pressure soon. I think I want to go activate Azcanta, have Mortify open though, most of all. Yeah, Frilled Mystic can't protect Reclamation, but can protect Search. Yeah, that was another thing that was ever so slightly on my mind, for sure. Alright, they get to like Nexus on my end step, potentially. Which is problematic. Jeez, this matchup is just terrifying. We just give them so much time. They have stumbled a huge amount. They could very easily still just kill us here. Need to find some Thought Erasures, or Absorbs, or Negates. Oh god. Yeah, the way it auto-tapped made it obvious I didn't have a counter there. I did find a Negate though, which is excellent. So we should still be safe. Was Mono Blue still great? Yeah, Mono Blue was pretty good. We won a fair amount with it. Deck felt very reasonable.
Hold that thought.
Esper has been really great today too. Been really happy with this deck. Let's find another Thought Erasure. Perfect. Let's see what's going on over there. So many Nexuses. Have I considered counterspells in my Esper deck? I have in fact considered counterspells. Thought I'd just put in a bunch of creature removal instead though. Kinda just want to take the Reclamation. Feel like the Nexuses don't do very much then, if I just like make sure they can never keep a Reclamation on the table. We're just never casting this Karn. So if I cast Karn, I still have Negate open. Although I don't... Yeah, I have Negate plus Mortify open still. So I think this is fine. I believe I'm not meant to fight over the Nexuses. I think at this point I'm meant to fight over, like, Reclamations.
I will fight with honor. How convenient and
Awesome. Found an absorb for next turn. Pressure with tokens now. I think I want to try and ultimate my Teferi and just get rid of their lands. And then we can kill them with tokens. I don't think the tokens are going to be enough pressure at the moment. This is my concern. You want to store until I ult Teferi? Yep, exactly. That's my plan. Alright, resolves. Try and hit those land drops. Resolves. They have so much more mana while they're scooping. I felt really far behind there. I was worried they'd just like manage to kill me. I'm surprised their hand was that bad. Alright, well we definitely want all this stuff. I'm kind of terrified of Carnage Tyrant, so I think I'm going to leave in Kaya's Wrath. Bring in Hostage Taker for Crisis. I don't know that I'm ever actually going to be tapping out for Crisis though. I'm just going to leave in all my Kaya's Wraths. Simic Nexus is the best version. It looked really scary, that game. Wrath of God also good versus Ooze. Yep. I think this is the plan. Let's keep in all our Wraths, but take out all the spot removal. Sounds so close to perfect. Obviously it's not perfect. Yeah, I would agree with that, Bobbin. It looked a lot more impressive than the other Nexus decks have looked when I've played against them. It seems really good at fighting from interaction. Alright, well, we no longer have 20 tap lands, so that's nice. Oh my god. Erasure into Thief. I'm worried that if I Erasure this turn, it just gets negated, but at least that would stop them growth spiraling, so I think it's fine. Opt Chemister's Insight. Taking a Chemister's Insight feels really weird. I guess it's what I'm taking. So we know our Thief of Sanity is safe, so we can jam that next turn. Front half of Insight is just one card for them and a mana discount, right? It's like pretty awkward to take it. I don't disagree. I think I'm still meant to. I definitely don't think taking the Opt is terribly exciting. And it at least denies them some card advantage. Yeah, the Reclamation is there. Is a strong draw. I'm not gonna lie. We are in an amount of trouble. Dear God. Having played the Nexus side of the matchup, I can confirm that is true from both sides. Oh God, they have something to do with their mana. At least not Nexus. Okay, so if they have a Nexus but no card advantage, that's fine, right? Although they do get to cycle these memorials, which is pretty sweet. It's actually really cool. The blue-green list just gets to free roll a bunch of memorials to like help make it more consistent. We tapped out on turn 3 when they had an Opt in hand as their only spell, and then we died. What a world. They left the card on top, jeez. Scary. This happened to you with Sultai, and you deleted the deck. Understandable response. Rude. Alright, well, we untapped, so that's something. Unfortunately, they have all this card advantage on board that we can't interact with. And they have an Arch Vraska. I think I might scoop in a second. Dear God. That deck is really impressive. Maybe the blue-green lists just like broke it. Teferi was a trap all along. I mean, hey, strong draw. I do not believe we can ever win this game. I'm just gonna move on with my life here. Alright. That was embarrassing. Moving swiftly on. I believe I meant to keep this. It does not have any discard, but... a copy of Cleansing Nova to remove Wilderness Wreck. It is nice that it can kill Wilderness Wreck or kill Carnage Tyrant. That is pretty appealing for sure. We're already going to have one Thief going. I think we can bin the second. It's like pretty upsetting if they canopy my Thief and I don't have a backup. But hitting my land drops is important. God damn it. Yep. Alright. I mean, we only actually need one Thief going at any point in time, and I needed to dig for land drops, it felt like. But obviously this was incredibly punishing. Is it Wilderness Wreck or Frilled Mystic? It's one of those two. Honestly, it's probably just Wilderness Wreck, if we're being realistic. Teferi. I'm gonna get rid of Teferi. Can't even cast Teferi next turn anyway. This way I can try and flip search so that I can just like keep holding open my mana. Nope. We're only one card away from flipping search. Ooh. I definitely want this. It means I'm missing a land drop, because I'm not inciting this turn. But it's a very good one. I meant to take Opt or Frilled Mystic. I don't really care about Frilled Mystic. I'm just going to be activating Search. Opt can try and like string some stuff together. I do want a Thief at some point. Now that they know they have the Mystic in hand, this isn't resolving. So I think I put it in the yard and just dig for lands. Because of the search for Azcanta. And then we get to like flip search and just like start activating to try and find interaction. Right, we'll keep a land, transform search. I assume I want to shock myself. That way I can like Azcanta into a negate, and I don't think the 2 life is going to be too relevant. Oh, do we only have the 1 thief left? That might be our only win con. I'm just going to put this in tapped. Like, the chance we hit the 1 remaining negate is just so low. And the life total could matter if they just start running out Frilled Mystics like this. So. Yeah. Definitely regretted not taking the Mystic when I saw the Thief on top, I will say. Alright, so I could activate this, or I could Insight to hit lands. I think I just want to activate this. Find a discard spell to clear the way for the Wrath. Okay, we still have Karn in the deck. That's a good thing to note. Breaking on that is brutal. I need to hold open interaction for the stupid reclamation. Yes, that just means I'm taking another hit. I'm getting down my Azcanta so it can dig me towards lands. And I get to end step Azcanta to keep looking for interaction. I don't have to worry about this Mystic for a little while longer. Because they cracked the Memorial, they can't Nexus on that end step, which is a relief. God damn. So brutal. This is a really good one, I guess. It is not a land. There is a world in which I meant to like Insight to try and hit my land drop for this Absorb. Scary. So if I activate Azcanta, they get to go for Nexus, but I can't just sit here and do nothing. I think I just lose if I play a staring game with my opponent, is the problem. I guess I could just spend this turn mortifying the Frilled Mystic, and that's like kind of getting somewhere. And that it gets their pressure off the board. So I'm now like only under pressure from Nexuses and stuff. Is there any time Azcantering after the search trigger resolves? I am trying to figure out what you're saying on Weeaboo. Is there any time Azcantering after... I'm not sure I understand what you mean on Weeaboo, sorry. Growth Spiral resolves. Oh, I figured it out. Yes, you grab the absorb off the Azcanta activation and then draw a land for turn. Yeah, I agree that that's probably just Galaxy Braining. At least here. Yeah. I figured it out, George. It took me a while. Almost want to cast Insight at the moment, because it can hit land drops for me. Otherwise I'm just never casting it anyway. Alright, I think in this position I have to absorb the Nexus. They have a negate anyway. Yeah. I must say, their version of the deck has felt dramatically harder for me to beat than any of the other Nexus decks that I faced with Esper. Like, these games have been a lot tougher. On the other hand, Kaya's Wrath is some strong magic. Doesn't blue-green just lose to mono-blue? I assume it does. Not everyone's playing mono-blue. Only most people. Oh wow, they don't have 7 mana up. That's amazing. Alright, I think this time I just want to Azcanta. There's nothing I want to discard to the Insight anyway. Just looking for like a discard spell or a Mortify. Mortify plays. There were like 3 mono blue decks, and then like a bunch of one-offs like Esper, Drakes. There's 1 bug deck. I actually kind of want the Kaya's Wrath, I think. Not like a huge amount though, but they have another Biogenicus maybe? I don't know, I could just spin this. I really don't want to play the mirrors. I think the mirrors seem heinous. My impression of the Sultai mirrors is they seem dramatically less interesting and such than the black-green mirrors were. I actually quite liked the black-green mirrors. But I think Crisis just kind of ruins everything. These negates are good. It might be too greedy to absorb here, but I kind of want to get some forward traction. Just have to hope that their hand is not too strong. I have to get forward traction at some point in this game. I can't sit around here playing scared the whole game. Right. You hope we counter this and die? We have to do something at some point. I don't think we can just afford to sit around here forever. I think this is fine. We die, we die. If we don't die, we're in like a way better position than we were. Yeah, I think it's right. This is scary. Forward tractors. We have the Mortify now, because we hit the land of the Teferi, which means we can interact with Reclamation. So it's like reasonably hard for them to fully combo off here. If they don't kill us, we probably win. I wouldn't go that far. Their deck is quite terrifying. If they don't kill us, we are capable of winning. Tautology. I guess that's not actual true tautology. It's very possible to not die and still be incapable of winning. I assume I just have to mortify this search. If they have a Nexus, we're like not well equipped to interact with it anyway. We could mortify it on our turn, but we're just not well equipped to interact with a Nexus at the moment. And our mana is at a premium. I think we're just meant to do it now. If they have a Nexus, then they need like some way to be paid off for casting the Nexus as well. When they only have like 2 cards in hand and an Insight in the grave. So it's like they need something else in addition to the Nexus as well. Is part of it. So it's not like we're like definitely dead from this. That's fair, Milkman. I mean, I assume they would Nexus on our upkeep. In which case we get the 1 Azcanta activation to dig for a counterspell. Just like, doesn't feel like enough to me. I really like just doing it on end step. I am a big proponent of casting that on the end step. Thought Erasure, sure. I think I'd have so many fresh cards because of the Insight, but definitely still just want this. Yikes. Dang, yo. Guess I'm taking this by a Geneku's. Weird world. Obviously you're about to be proven wrong, exactly. The mana actually matters here, because it lets us, like, potentially activate Azcanta again. Alright. I believe we are probably dead here. We will see. They get to like draw 2 Nexus. Like maybe draw 2 again and Nexus again. And then their deck's getting like real thin by that point. So we kind of have to hit a Negate for our Azcanta. Do we have one left? We have exactly 1 Negate left in the deck. Oh, we know like the bottom portion of the deck though. So there's 1 Negate in 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 17 cards. So we're about like 25% to hit. But if we hit, we probably win the game. We're in a very good position. Perfection. Never tell me the odds. Alright. It's pretty good for us. As if, or why would I ever miss? Missing just seems like strictly incorrect. I did in fact keep a 0 lander on the draw at the RPTQ. Very easily won.
Hurry.
It was a little bit foolish. Hey, perfect. So I guess they're meant to insight away this Nexus. I don't know that they even are meant to. I think they might be correct for them to just hold on the insight. Because I'm gonna get to take a non-creature from their hand anyway here. They have to hit like lands and creatures to be rewarded. Or 2 non-creatures. I don't really want to insight now. That seems like a way to like randomly die for no good reason. Everyone did decide it was a very good keep, George. Everyone who played Mono Blue decided that. Everyone who didn't play Mono Blue was like, this is very suspect. I don't really care about that Azcanta too much. Yes, I can activate my Azcanta and see if I can find a Mortify. So I can't really let them untap with that. So we can get rid of this, draw this for turn, top 4, but we also get a divination, so we don't quite get to the Mortify. I think I meant to let this resolve. Though, I think we can get to the Mortify between all the stuff we have going on. Kind of want to keep hold of my absorb. Also, we're only like a turn away from Teferi Emblem. If they blink of an eye at the Teferi, then we can just like Teferi tuck this anyway. That can go to the graveyard. 100%. Right. I would not let me look at my deck. That's really weird. It's quite awkward, actually. So I need to take the Karn. I have to click to the side. That's really weird. So if I go Karn plus, then the Azcanta activation finds Mortify. Right? Oh, but then we can't quite cast the Mortify. I also just like to fairy tuck this. And let the Karn and the Thief do their thing. Oh, that's true, Prometheus. This is probably loose. I'm gonna get the emblem and eat the land. I thought I couldn't interact with the land. You're correct. That makes this pretty heckin' loose. Yeah, this was really bad, because we're gonna get to eat the land with the emblem anyway. I think we're in a fine position though. We're gonna get Thief down and then start Nexusing with the Thief as of next turn.
I will fight for my friends. Allow me to introduce you to a friend of mine.
Yeah, that was kind of my feeling too, Milkman. I was pretty scared of it. Right, I assume they're just gonna leave the search on top. Yep. I'm not gonna counter the search because I can just Teferi minus the search again. Just like keep resetting it. I should be really scared of Nexus at this point. They're almost at the point of like double Nexus as well. Don't know how many negates we're through. I feel like it's 3. 1, 2, 3. Yep. Resolves. So we have to get through the next 2 turns. Because then we start hitting them with Thief and take over. Yeah, for sure, Prometheus, for sure. I'm unsure what the correct line was. I feel like maybe we're just meant to chance it. Because ultimating Teferi then just like eats through their Azcanta anyway. Aw, thanks, Odie. I really appreciate that. I'm really excited for it. Right, this doesn't matter. So it just eats a Teferi minus. We have to hold open absorb for Nexus at this point. Esper Control for RPTQ. I think Esper Control is excellent. And it's a very, very reasonable deck for you to take your RPTQ. That's how I feel about Esper Control. Alright. So you have to this is a tough position. They're getting to the point where they can just overwhelm us with Nexuses soon. I know if we hit at Nexus of the Thief, we just start casting Nexuses and kill them with the Thief. Oh my god, this is so tough. Right, I'm 100% casting the Thief. That's just a thing that's happening, 'cause how I win this game is starting to hit them and casting Nexuses every turn to kill them. Question is, how do I make myself most safe from getting killed? So I can dig to a Mortify, cast the Mortify. I don't quite have the mana for all of that. I think I'm just meant to tuck the Azcanta. Good Teferi. I guess I just have to hope this absorb is somehow good enough. So I just don't have enough mana for much more than that. Which kind of sucks. But I feel like it's where we're at.
Awaken.
Yes, we can't reach Thought Erasure here. I guess if we plussed Karn, we could reach the Duress. Oh, that was pretty loose. Yeah, that was bad. I should have plussed Karn just to get 2 cards off the top. Because if we connect with Thief, we're just winning the game anyway. I believe. So we're meant to plus Karn, get 2 cards off the top. And then activate Azcanta, cast Duress, have Absorb open. I don't believe I can fight over this. Sadly. I could fight over this. Just like hope they don't have another Nexus somehow. Maybe I have to. I think I might have to. And just like hope their hand sucks. Hope they don't have access to more Nexuses. Yeah, if I got to cast the Duress, this would be way easier. If we untap, we like probably win the game, but there's a very high chance we don't untap. See you, Caius. Thanks for hanging out. Appreciate it. Ooh, Biogenic Ooze. Makes things interesting. I need them to not have a Crushing Canopy, I guess. I guess Crushing Canopy would also be backbreaking. Where are the counter spells? How far down are they? We cannot reach one. There are none. Right. So we actually just can't counter a Crushing Canopy if they have one. So I guess we're just like not meant to respect anything. If they have Crushing Canopy, then like GG, I guess. Yeah. Alright, I believe that means we cannot actually win the game anymore. I'm just gonna scoop rather than bothering to play this out. I can't actually win from here. I'm not gonna kill them with Karn constructs before they kill me. Ugh. That was miserable. That was so bad. I wonder if we get there if we find the Duress that turn. Because we might get the Canopy from their hand. Because if we untap with Thief, I think we win the game. Because every thief attack is like increasingly more likely to find a Nexus, which lets you keep attacking with the thief. I don't think Nexus is going to get banned in best of 3. I wouldn't be surprised if it got banned in best of 1, but I'd be honestly a bit shocked if it got banned in best of 3. I don't think it's like oppressive or overly powerful or anything. Run them out of win conditions, then we die. We still have to kill them, is the problem. Otherwise the game just goes on forever. At which point someone's like forced to scoop on arena. That is really obnoxious. I guess I just take the sabotage. Get rid of this cast down. His best of 1 deck is heinous. Is that the deck that like doesn't try to win the game and just tries to make its opponent deck? Because yes, it is heinous. Agree. Naturally decks. Yep. I have seen this, George. It is an experience. That's really good against Mortify. Alright. Not convinced that card is particularly beatable. Yes, Chemister's Insight is the same thing, essentially. Okay. Fire off another draw 2. PvD lets his opponent do all the winning in the entire match, and sometimes they can't. Oh my god. I feel like if I was to actually play this deck, I'd want a single Nexus in the 75. Because it means you're not forced to kill your Nexus opponent as such. Because you can just work towards the end game of thinning all the cards out your library and then Nexusing on your own turn, and then you kill them, rather than having to race them. It's interesting. Also just like gives you a leg up in the control mirrors. It means that you can never get Teferi decked in the control mirrors. I actually think that's something I really want to try. Just taking the Ionize. I may actually try that. A single copy of Nexus just makes so much sense. Feels like it does so many things. Yeah, they're just scared of Teferi resolving and then us having counter magic backup, which is a pretty reasonable thing to be scared of, to be completely fair. I believe it's dramatically better than a Chromium. I don't think Chromium is playable. can't see a world in which you'd want to put Chromium in your deck. Alright. Say go, I guess. How many lands is this? 7, 8, 9, 10... 11 of the top 20. Chromium can't even block properly, exactly. Chromium does nothing. Like, Chromium will kill your opponent some amount of the time, but not enough to justify... I was meant to play a tap land there. Not enough to justify putting a 7 mana spell in your deck. Leave Chromium alone. I'm sorry, Chromium. Forgive me. Actually, incredibly happy that they cast that Thief of Sanity. Have something to point my Terminates at. Nexus is a 7 mana spell. I feel like it wins you the game a lot. I feel like it gives you so much equity in a bunch of matchups. Not least of all, it'll just like auto win the mirror. Or auto draw the mirror at least, I mean. Honestly, it might auto win the mirror some amount of the time too. But like, even auto drawing the mirror is worth a surprising amount, I feel like. Having that like fallback. Yeah, 7 mana spell that generates 7 more mana. It's a good way of looking at it. Alright, they get to bedevil this, but it's a 2-for-1. Takes us deeper towards the next Teferi. I think it's fine.
We need to move quickly.
Apparently draws us a cancel as well. How large a donation would I need to add a Goreclaw remote? I do not honestly know the answer to that. Would the emote be here permanently? Interesting, they shocked themselves. Oh my god. I actually have no idea what the answer to that is. Like, I am exceedingly off the idea of a Goreclaw remote, but money is great. Alright. Why do we have a Wrath in the Esper Control mirror? Excellent question.
No time for a break.
They're drawing so many cards. At least we have this cancel. Nothing can possibly go wrong. Yikes. Uh-huh. Alright. Well, this game feels pretty over. They've just drawn, like, I guess we've actually drawn the same number of cards. So I'm not entirely sure what's gone so wrong here. Yep. Currently regretting not holding that planes that I never ended up using. Eldest Reborn is very good in the Teferi mirror and nowhere else. I agree with that assessment. God. Tucking the Eldest Reborn is the most staggeringly awkward thing in the world. Maybe we were meant to hold Teferi and tuck the other Teferi instead, since they're going to get a Teferi here. Both my options are not great. Rip Bolus. Never to be seen again. Hey there, Mason. Oh, it takes the Teferi back into our deck so we can redraw it. It is true. I feel like I'm just meant to plus. Giving them the Eldest Reborn back in a couple turns just does not seem particularly beatable. I'm just gonna hope that we draw very well. We drew very well. That was decent. Skillful, in fact. The old 2-mana Surveil one. Strong magic. Jesus, Surveil a Chemister's Insight. Alright. I take back my mockery.
Let's skip to the good part.
I guess I meant to start holding lands, because we've seen Nicol Bolas and Eldest Reborn. Not that this Moment of Craving is doing much. Being my opponent is the worst. It's kind of a nightmare scenario. I can't really let them flip this one. As much as I need to ultimate this Teferi at some point in this game. We should tuck our Teferi so they can't kill them. Excellent, excellent point, Bobbin. Oh my god. Thank you. Thank you, opponent. You are kind. You are kind and giving. I don't think I'm ever -3ing on that Thief. I think I'd rather just plus towards extra interaction anyway, even if this Moment of Craving was countered. It's not countered. Awesome. Who tricked me into playing Karn? I tricked me. It's been like alright so far. Certainly not the best. I feel like all the extra win conditions kind of suck, is the problem, VT. Like, Karn sucks, Warrant Warden sucks, Kaya sucks. So yes, I want these Thieves. I feel like they're just going to keep in removal for them. We also have like a million bad cards. Definitely want Duresses. How is the mono blue matchup? I think Esper is favoured against mono blue, in my experience. Only by like a tiny bit though. So we've already seen Thieves. I think we want to cut Moments. You've heard good things about one Lyra main. I have heard good things about that also. Does sound pretty appealing. It's so good against the aggro decks. And like, no matter what card you put in, it probably like is medium at best in the control mirrors anyway. I don't want to cut too much removal because of Thief of Sanity. I'm honestly not even 100% sure I'm meant to be bringing in my Thieves. So I feel like it's very hard for them to actually board out all their removal against us when they know we have Thief on our board. Nothing has text in control mirrors, indeed. VT, I was considering a single copy of Nexus in the 75. Because if you put it in the main deck, then it means you no longer have to race your opponent in Nexus against when you're playing against Nexus decks, because you will eventually just reach the end game of like draw my own Nexus and start casting it a bunch. So there's not pressure on you to actually like deal with them and kill them. But it also means in the control mirrors, like the worst a game 1 can ever be is a draw, pretty much, because you only have to answer their one win con. And then, like, the worst it can ever be is a draw. Which is really interesting to me. It's going to be pretty awkward when they play Thief on turn 3. And we cannot kill it. Must be said. Tom Law does love a good draw. You are not wrong. Ooh, perfect draw, you say? Perfect draw. Yikes. I guess I'm taking this Eldest Reborn so I can actually cast my threats ever. And I have to get rid of this to dig from my land drops. I'm not sure, George. I was very curious. Yes, I'm just casting this. Can we take a moment, please? I think they boarded out their Moment of Cravings, George. That's why we couldn't take one from their hand. Alright. This is brutal. F plus. At least I got a plus. I'll take an F plus, that's great. Oh wow. Temple of Tilt. This used to be a quality stream. Guess that's all ogre now. Oh my god. Guild Gates. I don't think this is the gate stack, is it? I don't think we signed up the gate stack. I feel like the gate stack has like guild summits, gatebreaker rams. Yeah, exactly, VT, where's our guild summit? Rude. Like, I guess I can hit a Duress if I just do this now. I feel like if they have a threat, they're just gonna disrespect me and cast it anyway. When they know that we only have a mystery card in hand, and that we'd be firing off an insight in their end step anyway. Yep. Bye-bye, Karn. I think it's fine to counter the insight in post-board games. Post-board games are a lot more about card advantage than the pre-board ones. Right? Because all the spells are live and games will actually end. Alright. I mean, it's a map and an insight versus an insight and some mortifiers, so I guess we're kind of at parity at the moment. That's fair, George. That's fair. I don't know. I know that I'm, like, personally I'm always much happier countering card draw in post-board games. Alright. Hey, that's a great draw. That is a very good draw. I think I can play one more land. I think I'm always going to hold a land in hand because of Bolas. But playing one more feels fine. If the card draw resolves, they could find two scary things. There's something I always struggled with back when I was first learning Control, is I would like snap counter every Abzan charm. Because I figured it would always draw my opponent 2 cards deeper towards the threatening cards. When like in reality it's like drawing them like 40% of a land. Or like 40% of the 2 draws is a land. Which makes it like a lot less threatening when you think of it that way. Provided your opponent's deck can't utilize the extra mana terribly well. How many discard spells have they cast? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Uh-huh. I'm just gonna let this one resolve, I think. Save my absorb. Since it's my only counterspell at the moment. If I had like more counterspells in hand, I could maybe fight over something like that, but with only the one. This Esper deck is unreal level. It's not the most interesting control deck we've had of late. I miss Torrential Gearhulk and Scarab God. I loved how T-Hulk and Scarab God meant you could actually pivot like really heavily from like the control deck into the aggressor. Or like Scarab God would let you fight through hate cards really meaningfully. Feels like this deck has 0 pivoting. You're just like casting your spells, hoping they're good enough. And like a lot of the time they are, but how's this deck been? It's been pretty good. We've been winning a fair amount with it. The problem with Esper is definitely closing speed. There's definitely a problem with it, yep. Alright, I'm going to hold this land for Bolas still. Getting Azcanta in play is great, because they do not have white mana in that deck, so they're pretty bad at removing enchantments. We've only played one match since then. Wow. True though. Is this sorcery speed? Alright. So I can just let them go for the activation since I can kill Bolas anyway in response. And that sinks all their mana. I adored Scarab God. Scarab God and Torrential Gearhawk were two of like my favourite cards in a long time. Getting to play them both in the same deck always just made me unreal happy. You heard I had a good relationship with Scarab God. Scarab God has also won me a lot of money, which is probably influencing my opinion too. My opponent's just like tanking on whether to go for the transform. Yeah, Gearhawk was really interesting from like deck design positions. It like put your opponent in really awkward binds. It was kind of nice how you could like sometimes use it as this like really controlling thing, but also just use it as like, there are also options to just use it as to like try and tempo your opponent out. I don't know, it was really appealing for me. Please don't have a dive down. They have seen our Mortifies. We have in fact. I think I'm into Contempt. Rather than Mortify. Use all my mana when I have Azcanta active soon. Graveyard. Hey there, lassie. Good to see you. Activate this now in case we find discard. Contempt is also great. I'm just gonna wait on this Hallowed Fountain, because if they play another Bolas, I don't want to discard a spell. There have been a few dragons. We have in fact been slogging through dragons one at a time. Right, we can mortify that. Not too scary. We do need to mortify it, so maybe I meant to untap so I can protect mortify with a counter spell. Or a discard spell. Or they just have nothing. Sick. If Shops was here, he would say game ogre. Of this I am sure. Yeah, Freed, it's really weird. Bolas has just seen so little play compared to how good he is. I guess we need a Teferi to tuck this Azcanta. Oh my god. I'm actually gonna lose this. I guess we are a bit ahead of them on Azcantering at least. But obviously this is scary. Bolas came out and Grixis got worse. It was kind of ridiculous. Alright, well we cannot interact with that Azcanta ever, which is going to make this game pretty tough. My Azcanta is better. That doesn't mean that their Azcanta is beatable though. I guess we have 4 Thief of Sanities in the deck, or like 3 Thief of Sanities in the deck. I must admit, basically the duration of the card being in Standard, I think Search for Azcanta might be like my least favourite card in Standard. It's like really miserable to play against and feels really like unrewarding to play with. I'm rank 710. In my defense, I only made Mythic like 2 matches ago. Ooh, Precognition is nice, but Duress hits their Sabotage. So I believe I just want to like aim to Insight on their end step. Hold open counter magic. Hope that they don't play a Niv Mizzet. I'm not sure, Chronosavant. Most of the people I've seen doing well have been doing best of 3. Which makes sense, because it's like easier to get a higher, like, good players will get higher win rates in best of 3. It's like, if you're like 60% to win a game, then playing 3 games where you're 60% adds up to more than 60%. Across the whole match. What are they finding with their Azcanta here? They are tanking. If they have a Niv Mizzet, we probably die. Otherwise, I think we're able to battle through this. We're gonna find a Thief of Sanity real soon. Sargon's not too scary, so we've got these Contempts. You also just get more rating for winning a best of 3 match, yeah. So it's like your higher percentage chance to win, and you get more rating out of winning. I would like to exile your Sargon, please. Sick. Just keep activating this. We'll find a threat one day, such as this one. To be a bit careful, we have 19 cards left in our library. Like, I kind of want to fight over this, but I also... like, letting him get the Surveil is annoying, but I think I'm just meant to let this resolve because the Duress could whiff. And I can hold open counter magic alongside Teferi anyway. How many Teferis do we have left? I think we have loads. I think we haven't drawn very many. I feel like we might have 3 Teferis left. We also have 3 Thief of Sanities left. Yeah, so after this one goes, we have 2 left. I think I'm going to fight over this. They don't have that many Bedevils. I guess we get really punished by Eldest Reborn though. Maybe this is wrong because of Eldest Reborn. Eldest Reborn would be very hard for us to beat now. I think we're meant to hold the land. They played so many Nickel boluses, VT. I feel like playing out the land is just bad. This is a problem. Alright.
Is at my disposal.
At least we have this Contempt. So they can kill my Teferi or draw 2. Or get a stupid Niv Mizzet. Oh, they're getting a Teferi. Okay.
This isn't a fight you can win.
Or we could discard Wrath and be fine.
Not so fast.
No, I feel like it makes more sense to like maximize our spells and plan around discarding a land. Okay, so we can Teferi, tuck our Teferi, and then we can Contempt the Bolus. They have a counterspell, we're in trouble. It's actually kind of cool that this puts a card back in our deck though for the decking war. Should it come up?
I'm not ready for this quite yet.
Why is it an odd play from the opponent, George? What would you have done instead? I guess it means that they know, if they tuck our Teferi, it means they know we can Azcanta into the Teferi to tuck the other Teferi back. So it kind of sets that up. I believe they're taking the Absorb anyway. So I'm going to force them to ionize this. What was it Miranda said? So, best of one and best from 3 a combined ladder. Yeah, they are a combined ladder. So if you... So like all the best of 1 players and best of 3 players are battling against each other in terms of standing, even though you're only facing people who are playing the same mode as you. Alright. They have 17 cards left, we have 19. So currently they lose the decking war to the extent that that matters. Obviously if we ever get a Thief hit in, they lose the decking war 100%. Yeah, they could have just killed my Teferi for sure, George. Maybe that was better. I think that's probably what I would have gone for. You can kind of see the appeal of wanting 2 Planeswalkers in play though. Leaving me with a Teferi is interesting. Just like leave me with another win con. I guess they know we're drawing a backup 1-2. Oh my god. Can't hold all these Teferis. Yes, technically we can, but... Alright, how close am I to a Thief? Ooh, I can draw a Thief this turn. If they don't negate this. I could play the land for another Azcanta activation. I don't think that changes anything though. I do not believe that changes anything. So I guess I'm just going to pass the turn and hold the land. Again, just like holding the land for a bolus. Seeing what you're going to draw. It is quite tax. Yeah, it's wild to Craster. The first time I noticed that it was doing it, it was like kind of freaked me out. How many cards in each deck? They have 16, we have 14. But we have Teferis, which can tuck themselves. So we have that going for us. If they don't kill this Thief, the Thief is going to start milling them too. So I'd say the game is pretty close at the moment. Hey, look at me holding this land in hand. Oh, they get to negate this. Jeez. I mean, there's not like a huge amount I can do about that. Yeah, they get to negate this, flip their Bolus. But then the Bolus probably just has to kill our Thief of Sanity. The Gideon of the Trials emblem fight in the blue-white mirrors in Modern was like possibly the actual worst thing. You're both just trying to reach this end state of you having a Gideon of the Trials in play and your opponent not having one.
Kneel before your God.
This Bolus is going to be hard to beat if they use it correctly. Yeah, that would be nice, Amy, for sure. Like, just put like a little eye symbol above them or something. Yeah, that's exactly what my opponent had to do. That was very smart of them. So what happens here? We activate Azcanta and we end up getting a Thought Erasure, which does nothing. We really want to get the stupid Thief of Sanity. Problem is, then they just get to draw to their Bolus by like Scry Bottom, untap, Scry Bottom. So if we ever tuck the Bolus, they just draw it again, which is really tedious. My only way to deal with Bolus anymore is Teferi minus. I believe you are correct. I believe that means I cannot deal with Bolus, and I have lost the game. I don't believe I can actually win this game. If my opponent plays even vaguely competently, I'm just going to go to the next one. I just can't remove Bolus from the board anymore. Them drawing that Azcanta was just game ending. Like, we didn't know that they had better late game than us there, but it was kind of brutal. Do I want anything over this Kai'Srath? The thing is, Kai'Srath does kill Thief of Sanity, which feels relevant. Uptick Teferi, it doesn't do anything, Droplet Man. We can't actually win from that position. Draw Thief, and then play the Thief, and then they kill the Thief of their Bolus. And they still have a Bolus in play. I'm wondering if this Kai'Srath should just be like a Bell-Haunt or something. Bell-Haunt seems so bad, though. Seems like really bad. Like, it's technically a 2-for-1, I guess. I can pressure Planeswalkers. I'm just gonna run this back. Then Boluses at 1, deck them. I imagine the chance that we win from that position is incredibly minuscule. So, like, we actually can't win the game. Because we're ahead on the number of cards we've drawn. So, like, we need our opponent to, like, not only like make mistakes in terms of how they're playing, but also draw too many cards. And we just need so much to go right. It seems not realistic. I'd rather just move on with my life. I'll just take their bolus and try and flip it for max value. Our opponent was being really patient with the boluses. They were only running them out once they hit like 11 mana. God. It's like a control mirror, so our land drops really matter. There's also a... They also have like 8 duress effects in their deck. So this insulates against that a bit. I don't know. I don't know how this hand ever wins a game, but... There's 6 of our best cards in it. And a Karn. Problem is, missing lands in the control mirror is pretty brutal too. This would be the Stone Nuts game 1. I'm not sure we can, like, just mulligan vague, like, even vaguely functional hands when they have 8 duress effects is the problem. So I think I want to keep it. Obviously it is not good. But I think we're forced to keep it. Completely breaking their discard feels better than giving them Karn to discard. I don't know. It's like an interesting question. Because like you are going to draw into spells at some point. And then their discard's live. But like the turn 1 or 2 discard would be dead if you had 7 lands. Wow. Skill game. Literal best draw. Not close, literal best draw. Brutal. As can't go wrong with that draw. Oh. So we're at 3 in yard. We need to find a Mortify quickly. Deal with this stupid thing. I kind of want to insight. I don't really want to put cards in their yard. I think I'm just going to insight this turn. I don't really want to put cards in their yard for them. So I need to kill this search before it flips. If they tap out for something scary, at least the insight can try and dig for an answer. Yeah. Erasuring the bolus would be nice. The problem is if they have 2 boluses, then we've just like wasted our turn. So we need them to have like exactly 1 bolus for that to be an appealing play, is the problem. I think I have to yard this. These. Casual single black mana. Yep. Of course. I mean, still just gonna do this. We can Contempt next turn. They get to have counter magic up next turn. Right? We can take 4. Yeah, I don't mind about taking 4. I mind about them having, like, 3 counter spells in hand. This is my concern. Nice timing on that Eldest Reborn. Strong card. Strong card. I'm just, like, worried that if we wait on the Contempt, things can just spiral out of control. I can see worlds in which they start to spiral from there. This is my fear. Definitely take this. It's not particularly beatable.
Sorry I'm late.
Get rid of this Azcanta. Deny them the scry triggers,
So fast.
etc. Oh, now they can reanimate the Niv-Miz. That's fair. I'm kind of hoping we can find like a Mortify or something for the Eldest Reborn, but I guess they have Iron Eyes to protect it. Thing is, the Niv-Miz is hitting play sooner or later anyway. We're gonna have to deal with it at some point, as soon as they hit their 6th mana, regardless. I guess this way the Niv-Miz hits play with them having loads of mana open though. You thought we were gonna tuck the Reborn. Maybe that was better, since the search was so far from flipping. Thank you, Baron Ninja. Appreciate it. I'm very, very excited for it.
Hurry.
Yeah, this was bad, tucking the search first. I was just, like, terrified of the search. Have been all game, so I think we auto lose the game when it flips. But obviously it just looks like awful now that we did that. Should definitely just got rid of the Reborn because of the Niv-Miz. So I guess I have to try and kill the Reborn to deny them, because if I cast this once the Niv-Miz is in play, they get triggers. And we just have to hope they can't find counter magic to protect the Niv-Miz. We seem very dead. We seem like reasonably dead. For sure. Should upkeep. Oh, to tap their mana on their turn. You're correct. You're correct. Or only OT if they map. Yep. For sure. I've just been like streaming for 7 hours. My brain is a bit burnt out. Also, must admit, I find this deck incredibly dull. Which is probably not helping. I really enjoy control decks, but
Stop that. Now.
I enjoy control decks when they have like Torrential Gearhulk in them. Or something.
Hold that thought.
Teferi can tuck the Niv-Miz, but then they just get to recast it, so I think we have to dig for removal. Do I just have to Teferi tuck the Niv-Miz anyway? I don't know how we ever win this game. Teferi tuck Thought Erasure it. We never get a chance to Thought Erasure it because of the treasure map. I guess we just have to do this. God. Maybe we don't. Maybe we just hope they have no instants or sorceries. And that we can find their removal spell next turn. How has Karn been? It's been pretty bad. I think all the win cons have looked pretty bad though. We're gonna have to deal with that Niv Miz at some point. I'd rather just activate my Azcanta, I think. Try and hit a Mortify. Mize. Hopefully this stop is set correctly. It actually gives me priority. Thank you. God damn. Yeah, I'll take this negate. Problem is, I'm probably gonna have to spend a negate on the search for Azcanta or an absorb, which means they're gonna get to draw another card off the Niv Miz. If we can deal with the Niv Mizzet though, our Azcanta should go over the top of the card advantage that they gain out of these exchanges. So maybe it's fine. Oh, thank God. They didn't cast something pre-combat. If they cast something pre-combat and forced me to cast a counterspell, they would get to kill the Teferi off the trigger.
We'll meet again.
This way we soak up 5 more damage. Or I guess it's actually like 3 to 4 more damage, but still. Yeah, all the win cons have looked garbage to me. I agree with that assessment. Hey. That is really good. So yes, I do this in their upkeep. And I get to have negate back up. If this resolves, I get to negate the search. Oh wow, Lassie, that's absurd. That sounds like extremely stacked. You need a win con that can kill someone when they have Nexus of Fate in their deck. Because if you exile your opponent's permanents and then tuck Teferi to try and deck them, but they have Nexus of Fate in their deck, they get to discard Nexus to hand size every turn to stop themselves decking. And the game just like never ends. It is a draw. So because of that, you need an actual win con in your deck to beat the card Nexus of Fate. Please don't have a negate. Give me a chance. Thank you. And we get to tuck the search, so we buy ourselves like a bit of time from that. I guess they could still draw a negate off this trigger. Oh, that's true, Milkman. That's true. That is better. Okay. Not quite out of the woods. If they draw a counterspell for turn, they get to protect their search. potentially. I guess they need 2 counterspells to protect their search. Because we have Absorb up. Obviously we have to take this search off the table. We cannot beat it. Realistically. Nice.
Right on schedule.
Now we get to hold open Absorb.
Let's take it back.
They only showed us 1 Niv Visit in game 2. So we let this resolve, because we don't really mind them taking any of these cards. We still get to hold open and absorb after the Duress. This means that I get to use my mana on activating Azcanta if they don't do anything else that I care about. Teferi down. Azcanta is now the top card, so we have 1 turn until we have to deal with that. So they're hoping to hit Negate plus Azcanta here. Yeah, I don't really mind them contempting my Teferi, because we have Azcanta active. We're just, like, we don't need Teferi to win the game, because Azcanta is just going to bury them in card advantage. We do have to make sure their Azcanta doesn't hit play though. If it does hit play, we have to remove it. Because if they untap with it, I don't believe we can win. Alright, how many Mortifies do we have left? We have 1 Mortify, 1 Teferi left, and we have to find one of them.
Let's skip to the good part.
That's a good one, potentially. Probably not good enough to beat an Azcanta, but hey, here's the Teferi. So I need to play my land, have Absorb up. Choose the one I wish to keep. This one. Get rid of your Azcanta. Then we untap 2 lands and have Absorb open. Yeah, that is a Chemister's Insight. Resolves. There is the Azcanta. How close am I to falling asleep? Reasonably. It's not like this deck is a thrill a minute.
You know what? I'm not done yet.
Hey, discard spells. Thank God. I was wondering when we'd hit one of those. Nice. Now we get to play this and have Absorb open. Yeah, this game's over now. Awkward couple turns early on. Where I messed up a bit, but I think we recovered nicely. Ooh. Alright, that's the way they can actually fight through this. Potentially. Because that gets through our absorb. Because of the jump start. Alright, I really just want to keep holding open the absorb, so I'm not gonna activate Azcanta there. Hitting them with Thief of Sanity is just busted. Time to get a Bolas. That'd be nice. This one's like a little less nice. They almost certainly don't have a spell in their hand. I guess they could do. I guess we're still just going to cast it anyway. But hopefully they drew a counter spell off the insight. Let's flip a Bolas. That seems like a poor life choice. Is what that seems like. Oh, I should have activated the Azcanta by now. That was poor. We still get to activate Azcanta, cast Insight, and have Absorb open though, which is decent. I guess this is fine. Don't really mind them drawing two. Thought Erasure. Alright, well, they're taking the Absorb anyway, so I'd rather just not use my mana. They get a Surveil, but the Thief is undoing their Surveil anyway, ideally. I don't really care about that card advantage at this point. Like, the treasure map is so slow. Alright. Love to find a counter spell. Treasure map sucks. It's not the best one I've ever seen. Fair criticism. So hit them. Oh boy. I guess there's like a low-key risk of decking. That just sounds exciting though. We have in fact found a win con.
No time for a break.
Ping you. Activate Azcanta. That's not a counterspell. We cannot grab a counterspell in response to anything, which is pretty heartbreaking. So I guess I'm just going to cycle this Thought Erasure. Nah, I get to untap my Azcanta this way and activate it again, which I guess is slightly better. We also get to have Contempt open for a Bolas, so the Bolas doesn't get to flip. You wonder if I should decline to take a card there? Maybe. Alright. That was a grind. In fact, we did climb 200 ranks, so that's pretty nice. How many cards in that deck? There were like 18 left, I think. Only took an hour. Jesus. Wow. This deck feels very strong. It's also like... So last standard, I loved the Esper Control decks. Because you got to play like Torrential Gearhulk and Scarab Guard, and you'd actually get to kill people. And I really hated the blue-white control decks that were just like Teferi is your only win con. I thought those were horrific. I think this resembles the blue-white control decks a lot more from that format. That was kind of a lot, if I'm being completely honest. Jeez. Alright, I'm gonna see who there is to send a little raid to. I'm gonna send y'all over to Ferociously Steph, because I've not raided Steph's channel in a while.